Hello everyone, here we are, hopefully with enough light. It is Thursday, it is 3:02, and we are gonna do some fancy folding. I'm just gonna get this going on the iPad as well so that I can see your comments if we have any. And it is possible that my child will come, running inside and wanting my attention or wanting the iPad. So just caveat there, this could get a bit crazy. Yeah, okay. So I have created this card recently, or 4 of them. You saw them on my Facebook page, my Instagram. This very fun, fancy fold of poinsettia cards. I have also created this fancy fold previously in my snowflake class in a different orientation. So here we have our portrait and here we have our landscape. So we're going to do the portrait, but I'm going to leave you with the dimensions for both. And I've already started to score this one, so we can't fix it, but I'm going to just show you one thing right now. So you can see how this is smooth going all the way up the back. There's no extra score line. And this one is not the case. There's this extra score line, which I actually don't really love. And but I just have to figure out the math so that we don't have this. Basically, it just means you only score in the middle and not all the way across. But I've already scored, so we're gonna get another one that looks like this. But we can figure it out and figure out where you don't want to do that. Okay, so this, to get this orientation, of course, you have to cut your paper 4 1/4 by 11. And now we are not going to score it in half. So I think you're already realizing that this is not scored in half. Instead, it is scored at 6 1/2, not 5 1/2. So I already had scored that at 6 1/2 so that I wouldn't forget. And now we need to do a bunch of additional scoring and cutting. So this is where it is helpful if you have, and I'm just going to turn this over. I don't know if people find the blue distracting. You can let me know. I'd love to know. So I'm going to put our little math beside here too. So this is where it is ideal if you have this type of a trimmer because you can both be scoring and trimming at the same time. So we are actually making this card here, the 4 1/4 by 11. So you can see I've already scored at 6 1/2. Now what we need to do, we need to go an inch from the bottom and we need to score an inch in on either side. So this is where a scorer, like a trimming tool like this with the ruler everywhere is like super awesome. So make sure you remove your cutting blade because you're going to be really sad if you cut when you want it to score. So I know that I need to come an inch in, and I've already lined my paper up an inch from the edge. So I'm going to use my ruler here and I'm going to score to the 1 inch mark. Then I also know that I need to score in an inch from this side. So I need to go from 4 1/4 to 3 1/4. So I'm just going to lift that up, bring my scorer over and go 4 1/4 to 3 1/4. Okay, so there is our first 2 score lines. Now I'm going to flip the paper over or around because now I need to see the 2 inch mark. So now I'm going to do the exact same thing and go in another inch. So now we have 1 at 1 inch and 1 at 2 inch. So again, I'm going to go 4 1/4 to 3 1/4. And then over here, I'm going to go all the way in to the 1 inch mark. All right. So we have 2 sets of score lines here on either side. Now, 1 inch from this fold, I need another score line, but I need it to only be in this middle piece. So we've got an inch and 4 1/4. So 2, so this is only going to be 2 1/4 inches across. So what I am going to do is bring that fold mark out to my 1 inch. And then I know that I am scoring from 1 inch across to 3 1/4. Okay, so now we have all of the scoring done. So score marks here, and a score mark up top. Now we need to do the cutting. So we're gonna place this back in. I'm gonna put it over to the 1 inch again, because I know that that is how much I want. I'm gonna get rid of my scoring blade. I'm going to bring in the cutting blade, and I am going to put it down at 1 inch. That's where our first score mark is. I'm gonna make sure my paper is straight, because otherwise that will be disappointing. So make sure you've got all these things lined up before you cut. All right, so now I am going to cut from 1 inch all the way up to my 6 1/2 score. And I am going to do that on the other side as well. So I want 1 inch from the edge, and I want 1 inch from the bottom, and I'm going to cut from 1 all the way up. Okay. All right, we've done it. Now, hey, Sandra, we just have to figure out where all the folds have to be and fold everything in the correct orientation. And I usually muck this up once, and then I figure it out and I refold it. Sorry, I'm just trying to find this card. Okay, so we want this to go up and these pieces to go like so. You'll know if you have done it correctly because it will make sense. And see, I had done that incorrectly, and so it didn't make sense. So I would suggest you just kind of like lightly fold each and then figure out if you're in the right direction. And then once you are, you'll know because it should be able to stand like this. You need to score. Now I know my son is looking for the iPad now. He's come inside and he's wondering where it is, and he's gonna start yelling. So that's fine, I'll give him the iPad. It just means I won't be able to see your comments. So I'm not ignoring you, I will just be commenting after, just so that way I can stay sitting down. So, buddy, I've got the iPad. So there we go. Yeah, you can have it. So we just need to burnish everything so it's nicely scored, and then there you have it. And then really, just after that, it's all about decorating. So I'm going to show you how to cut it in the other orientation as well, because I feel like that's what people are most interested in, is how to cut it, less about how to decorate it. We will decorate for sure, but we'll just sort of, I'll show you. So our other card is 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this would be your standard cutting a piece of paper in half, but then you're gonna cut 1/4 inch off the end, okay? And then we're just gonna do some fun scoring again. So same idea, it's 1 inch in from the sides, it's 1 inch in, you've got a 1 inch and a 1 inch, that's what gives you your lip. And then we're just going to figure out our fold at the top, okay? So we're gonna put this guy down. I'm gonna again place it at the I'm gonna place it this way at the 1 inch. And we are going to score 1 inch from each side. So I'm gonna score into 1 inch on this end, and then same here. So now this one is 5 1/2, so I'm going to go to 4 1/2, okay? And then we are going to do that at the 2 inch mark. So again, we're gonna go from 5 1/2 to 4 1/2. And we're gonna go from 0 to 1. And then what we are also going to do is score at the 5 1/8. And we are going to score in, again, 1 inch on each of those. So we're gonna score 1 inch here and 1 inch here. Then we are also going to score at the 4 1/8 mark, and that's gonna be where our card actually folds in half. So we want to score in between those marks, right? So we want to score from the 1 all the way to the 4.5. And by only scoring in the middle, that's what allows us not to have that extra fold. So, hello, we have Carol from Connecticut, we have Kathy, we have Sandra, we have someone else on here too. And then we are just going to cut between these lines. So again, I'm going to line it up at the 1, get rid of my scoring tool, get my cutting blade, make sure my paper is straight, bring that blade down at the 1, and we're going to cut all the way up to our 5 1/8. And I can see the score mark. You guys can't see it. But you'll see when I open it. So you can see we've got our score marks there. Okay. And then we are going to do the same on the other side, the 1, and then we are going to cut all the way from the 1 to the 5 1/8. So I don't know if you guys are writing down these measurements. You can always replay back. I can also put my little schematic on there. So the 1 to the 5 1/8. So when I first made this card, I made one of these cards last year for my club, and I did not have this cutter yet. And so it was crazy because I did all the scoring on my scoreboard, and then I had to use like my X-Acto knife. So this card is going to fold in half here. So this is going to be our lip, where our greeting is going to go. Those are going to go down, and then this is going to go up. So it might seem confusing when you first do it, but then once you sort of start to fold, you'll see it will just come together. And then this guy pops out like that. So now it's similar to this one. So that is how you can do this card in either orientation. And then you're just going to decorate. So keeping in mind, these, regardless of which orientation you're in, your flaps are 1 inch. So you're going to want your DSP to be 7/8 of an inch. And on this one, your DSP is going to be 4 1/8. Four and 3/8. I already did it here. It's going to be, sorry, 4 3/8. And then on this guy, they are going to be 3. And then your middle piece, this one is 2 3/8, or 2 1/8, pardon me, will be the middle piece here. And the middle piece on this one would be 3 3/8. Now you can see on this design, I put another piece of white paper here. This one is also lined because it's such dark paper. This one, we chose to sort of do our greeting on a smaller piece. So that's totally up to you. Now, I don't actually have the poinsettia petals, but everyone was loving this card. So I wanted to try to recreate something similar. Now you can put sort of something as big as you want here. It's okay if it comes across on that because your card will fold in flat. So you can see how on both of these we have things going off the edges. So that's okay. So what I was thinking we would do is build the wreath and kind of go from there. So I thought we would use this DSP because I liked it and it goes with the vanilla. So like I said, I've already cut this the right length. So we need 2 pieces that are 7/8. So I'm going to put those in there. We need a 7/8 for one side, and we are going to need a 7/8 for the other, but I'm actually going to turn it so that we kind of get this paper lining up how it's meant to be. 7/8 over here, and then this guy is going to go in the middle. Clearly my math was slightly off. So this one should be 2 3/8. Or I guess I just haven't, what have we got here? Oh, 2 1/4, 2 1/8. My bad. 2 1/8. There we go. Okay. So that is all of our DSP that we will use. And then I thought we would have fun with the wreath dies. Let's bring this back in so it doesn't look like we have nothing here. Okay, so this is the Wreath Builder Dies. I know you guys have seen me create some cards with them, and I love them. They're like, oh my God, why did I wait to buy these? So what I was thinking is we will use the little poinsettias because they're beautiful, and we will do Rococo Rose and Blushing Bride, and that's what I had here, Blushing Bride and Rococo Rose. And then, you know how sometimes people have those beautiful wreaths that are really all white? So I thought we would do one layer in this mint color, and then I thought we would do one layer in the vanilla, or one layer in the shimmery, and then I thought we would do like our holly or twigs in this beautiful like brass color. I thought that would look really pretty then with the pink poinsettias. So I know a few of you are watching, so I would love to hear what you want to do for the leaves. Should we do them in like, because I like to do 2, if you see here, I've done like 2 rows of leaves and then the middle. So should we do like 2 in the green? Should we do a vanilla and a shimmery, or a green and a shimmery? And then we will do this one as the, of course, my big scissors. If you watch my lives, you know that I do a lot of crafting, like all throughout our house. So I always have scissors in multiple different places. I think my big scissors actually Kiddo was using for a school project. My Stampin' Up! Snips are upstairs. I know that because I was using them. Okay, shimmery. So shimmery and the seafoam, do you think, Sandra? Okay, I'm gonna run this through the Big Shot. And we'll go from there. So yesterday, Tuesday, excuse me. I was able to place some of my pre-order out of the new catalog that is coming. And I have the new mini cut and emboss coming my way. So I'm pretty excited about that because I did not buy the big one because mine still works. But I'm pretty excited to get the little one. What's going on here? Sorry, just trying to line up my Big Shot. Something is not feeding through. I'm not really sure what's happening. What have I got? Oh, because I had the wrong platform. I should Big Shot under the camera. I appreciate that, but it's just so much easier if I don't have to lift it on and off the desk. I know that's not easier for you guys. And this one, I actually have those adhesive sheets on the back of this shimmery white already because I was using it for another card. So this actually is already going to be like a sticker. You love your new paper trimmer. Yeah, I told you. Game changer. Game changer. And this is the metallic cardstock that I have used here. I could have used champagne foil, of course. But the reason I'm using this is because it's likely going to discontinue at the end of this holiday catalog, so I might as well use it up. Oh, look at how pretty that is. Pretty. Okay, we're gonna put those bits aside. And then we're also gonna do a leaf in the mint. So I don't know if you've noticed that you can see I have color, or I have tracings on here. That's so that I can actually put the dies back in the proper spot. It's a little tricky with this one, I'm not gonna lie. because it's like exact. But I find if I don't do that, then I don't know how to put the dies all back together sometimes. And that is a bit embarrassing, or more just frustrating, because you're like, how do I do this? How do I do this? These, I know they fit because they came from Stampin' Up! All on the same page, and now all of a sudden they are not. Okay, so here's the seafoam. And at the same time, I am going to pop out this poinsettia, because we might as well die cut a bunch of things at once. Because I'm going to be doing all this die cutting, I am actually going to move this over so that people don't think I have disappeared that are watching this after. Okay, so we're going to put this one on in the seafoam. And then we are going to do, make sure that's not going to cut off. You'll see I'm very crafty with using up paper scraps. I try not to waste anything. Now, when I did those other poinsettia cards, I did 2 layers of flowers as well. Again, for just a bit more depth, visual interest. So we will do that again. You can see there's the little guys in the center. So then we will put this on again, run it through. And then we will do, I like the idea of things being in 3s. So we'll probably have to do 2 of one shade, but let's start with what we've got here. So you can see this scrap of paper is just wide enough, which is why I'm turning it over to check, because the die, when you're looking from the top, is always a little bit bigger than where the actual plate is going to cut. So you can generally get away with a slightly smaller piece of paper than your die, but you just have to make sure that you are doing things in the right orientation. So you can see, even though you can see the tip, it doesn't matter because the little bit that's gonna cut is on the paper, okay? So that is a trick. It's very handy on some of the other dies that actually, they cut quite a bit further in than the edge. So then you end up cutting bigger pieces of paper than you actually need when you're die cutting. And I'm sure we're all the same. Nobody really wants to waste paper they don't need to. All right, so let's start with that. And then if we want a 3rd poinsettia, we will add one. Okay, move that guy out of the way and bring all this in. We don't want to lose these dies, so I'm going to put them roughly back where they belong. Bring these pieces in. We're going to need our adhesive, silicone sheet. We've got our flowers. Here is our initial card. We've got our seal, which I think I am just about to run out of. And of course, my other one is upstairs. So we will be using our glue for the most part. Okay. Let's start with this. So we're just going to put a bit of adhesive, or the white glue, on our edges. Sorry, my child is looking for a snack, so I'm slightly distracted by what he's doing. Yeah. And then we're just going to open the card up so that we can line this up. If by some chance your cutting is a little bit off, just make sure you're covering the top bit, because nobody's, oh, the camera moved. Oh, is it better? It looks okay for me. Are you guys okay? Let me know. This is what people are going to see. People aren't going to see this bit because it's going to be folded up. Are you guys okay? Is the camera okay? I probably bumped it. It looks okay, so I need you guys to let me know, because for as far as I can tell, everything looks fine. Bottom left corner. Here? Oh, I think what I actually did is, oh, there we go. Sorry. I hit the light, and the light was covering the camera. My apologies. Thank you, Sandra. Good thing I noticed that. You guys would have been like, what is she doing? Okay. All right, so there are those pieces. So you can see, even though this card seems complicated, it's not. I mean, obviously there's a little bit of finicky in the beginning, so it does help if you have a good trimmer and a scoring tool. But once you get that piece done, then you're really just, you know, putting it together. So what I would suggest is if you want to make multiples of a card like this, that you score and cut a whole bunch of them first, and then you do this part after. All right, so there is the card base. All right, okay. And now, so the wreath is gonna go in the middle. So you just want to be careful, and this is where I'm gonna have trouble because this one had that adhesive sheet, that you don't have adhesive here because you don't want it sticking to the rest of your card. So you can do a couple of things. I'm actually gonna put this in here to just kind of let me know, like, don't go on that part. Although, you know what? I need this first to put this together. So we're gonna put this together. So I think what I'm going to do, so we can either do the green on the back, then this, and the white on the front, or maybe I think the white on the back, and then the green on the front, and then we will have the flowers. Yeah, what do you guys think? Like that? To have the green on the front? Or do you want the white on the front? I think the green personally, but I will happily listen to what everyone else says. In the meantime, I'm gonna punch out my little circles. Of course, I love the little mat. Oh yeah, you need the mat. This is when I should not have let my son have the iPad, because now I can't see any of your comments without standing up. That's okay, I will stand up. Sandra says yes, so I think that means green on the front. All right. And this guy, all of these, we're gonna get rid of all these little guys, and you'll see what I'm gonna do. And this is where this mat is essential if you do not use the adhesive sheets, because we have to just kind of get creative with where we're putting adhesive. The other alternative is you use glue dots. So the white, that makes me laugh, okay. I am going to now take this, and you're gonna see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my glue, and I'm just going to place it where there are big enough sort of spots to put a tiny bit of adhesive. So there's not gonna be adhesive everywhere, but I'm going to have enough adhesive that this will stick together. But I don't want to put it where you're going to see it come out the back. Which is another reason why you don't really need to use the adhesive sheets, because the way these will overlap, you'd have adhesive sheet where you don't need it. And then if you decided to pop your wreath up off your card, which I had done here, you're just using adhesive sheet that you don't need to, but it's not a crisis by any means. Okay, so we're gonna start with that. We're gonna put this guy there, and then we're just gonna lay this over top and just kind of decide where we want it to go. You want them to overlap. I want them to sort of, I want to have as much of the leaf showing underneath, so I'm just gonna turn it so that it's not completely overlapping. All right, and then you're just going to press that down. And you'll see once we put the other layer over top that we will have enough. But you can also see where I have adhesive and we didn't need it, okay? And then I'm going to take another layer of leaves. And what you can do on this one, so this layer you can do one of two ways, because now we're gonna have this overlapping. So You can see that I can actually put it out on these leaves because they are going to be covered. So I'm going to put a bit more on this top layer. I still keep it fairly central, but you can be a little more generous with where you put the adhesive. And you could probably do so on the other layer as well. This is just my method because I just want to ensure I don't have adhesive where I don't need it. All right, then pick this up. We're going to bring this one back in, and then we want to make sure that this one is offset from the white one. Otherwise, you won't see any of the white leaves. All right, and then I'm just going to go around. I'm going to press these down. And now we have our very pretty wreath. So what I will likely do on this card, the same thing I did with the other card where I have used the Wreath Builder, is I will use dimensionals, and that way I don't have to worry that it's going to be on there. So you can see it's very, very pretty. So we're just going to use some dimensionals like there. So we can kind of see where this wreath is going to sit, and we can know where we're going to put dimensionals because they're going to be on our card front. So we can have one there. We can have one, let's see, we could put one there. We could put one here. And that is probably enough. Aw, thank you. Oh, hi, Cynthia. Okay, so we're gonna take those off. And then we will build our flowers. And then of course we need a greeting. Okay, so I am just feeling on the back where those dimensionals are. And then I'll see, whoops, helpful to push them down a little before you do that. If that's gonna work. Okay, so I feel them there. All right, so if I turn it over, I didn't get this one perfect, which just means every time the person opens and closes, that dimensional is going to stick. So you do have to watch that a little bit with the dimensionals. I'm gonna fix that later though, okay? Oh, hi, Lynn. And bling. I need to add some bling. Yes, of course. Okay, so these little guys are just gonna be offset like that. And I'm trying to think how I did it here. And then I blinged up the center. So I think what I did is I took this and I put it at the very edge because they do overlap a bit there. And then we're going to bring this one in. And I tried to line up the circles in the middle, which you can sort of do. Okay. So that's that one. Then we're going to do the same on this one. And then I'll show you what I did with the bling. It's been a while since I've done a complicated card on here because I find you guys are just having to spend so much time watching me. That was silly, wasn't it? It's okay. Take that off. We're still going to be fine. Okay, there we go. is the beauty of this, the multi-purpose. It does dry clear. You can also use your adhesive eraser. Okay, so there's our flowers. Here's our wreath. Now, this is a bit sticky, right? Because it's got glue on it. So just make sure before you decide to use it to assemble your card on, you wipe it off. Or turn it over. So we're gonna have these guys kind of come in here like this. I'm gonna put the light one at the bottom. Okay. And then I used for the centers of these cards, let me find it.
I was playing with Tom and we just left. Oops. You said you had to go to the bathroom?
Okay, so that is gonna go like that. And I may decide to add a third flower after. Okay, and then we're just gonna take these guys. So what you can use, your take a pick tool, and use the side that is good for picking up sequins, is also very good for getting these guys off without separating them from the backing. Okay. The problem is, of course, you can see I can only make so many flowers when I use this many as the center. So, I think what I will do what I had done on the other one. So we just got to move that guy over. So there's that. The other thing that you could use if you had them, I still have some, although they are retired, would be these beauties, the gold faceted gems. So this one I am going to do similar. I'm going to do the 3 smaller guys. Oh, I didn't use that size. Actually, there's 4 sizes here. Oh, so let's do that. Okay. So this one, I'm going to do these slightly bigger ones. I don't think I realized that when I made my other card. So you can see, because I have been fiddling in here, my the gummy part of this, I've pulled on it. Oh, see, and now I've separated that. So that's what can happen with these, is the gem gets separated from the sticker underneath. Okay, so there we have it. The wreath, the centers. So now we need a greeting down here. And I think I will use the Merry Christmas that I have on this other one, because to me it is very pretty. So we're going to use this Merry Christmas. And we're going to do pretty much the exact same thing we did there. So I'm going to stamp it in Rococo Rose, and then I am going to line it with that beautiful metallic that we had. So I need my Rococo Rose, and I need to figure out which set that's from. Merry Christmas. I think it is actually from the Snowman. Nope. Where's that one? stamp from any of those. Huh, how about that? Oh, maybe I used a retired stamp set. No, none of those. Okay, well, let's use something else. Or I had another stamp set out here and I put it to the side, which is often the case with me. So we just need a different Merry Christmas. That'll be too big. Well, we can use that one. It looks like the one, oh, you're right, it is last month's paper pumpkin. Thank you, Sandra. Huh, gosh. See, this is the problem. I say, hey, I'm gonna do a Facebook Live, and then I realize like I'm not super organized. Oh, thank you guys for bearing with me. Also why I often then say, okay, I'm just gonna finish this and I'll post the rest later, because I figure people have better things to do than be watching me do this. Okay, here we go. We have a vanilla scrap, and let's see, we want it to be 3/4, and I trimmed this one down to be 3.5. So 3/4 by 3.5. So I'm going to cut that now. So we want 3.5, and we want 3/4. Okay. It is a photopolymer stamp, so we're going to use our piercing mat to make sure we get a good image. We're going to use our Rococo Rose. This is a really pretty Merry Christmas. I will definitely be keeping this one. And then, sorry, you might see my head all of a sudden come into the camera because I want to make sure that I'm actually on my paper. There we go. Close that up. And then we're just going to put a border on that. So we're going to get this guy out. So what did I say? I said it was 3/4, right? So I'm going to actually cut this to be just about like that, because I can see I don't have a very nice edge here from when I was cutting it with the scissors. So this is what I will often do when I'm cutting an extra piece just to border something. I'll just take it and kind of lay it on the paper. I'm sure you guys do the same. And then I just sort of place it in there and go from there. And then we will cut the end off. Comme ça. There we are. And I will, hopefully I have enough seal left, because I don't generally like to use the glue where my greeting is, just in case I get too much and then it kind of makes a bit of a blob underneath it. I don't like that. So if you don't press this down super hard to start with, you do have a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, there we go. And then we are going to use our dimensionals again and place that on here. So you could definitely use big ones. I don't know where my big ones are right now. So I'm going to use small ones. And that, my friends, is how you do the fancy fold. Okay? So hopefully that was helpful and hopefully not too confusing. I will put a little picture of the measurements, and hopefully they will make sense to you. And then you can try making this card in both landscape or portrait. So there we go. That is today's card. This is this one that we were using as our template that everyone was saying they really liked. So I just wanted to try to recreate the pinks. So I think that's fairly pretty. I don't know what you guys think. And then of course we did this cutting and scoring of a second card in the other direction. And I will make a card in that direction and I will post it as well so you can see what that one looks like. All right. Thanks, ladies. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.